Good evening. Welcome to the Picture of London. A few days ago, the city has been stirred by the mysterious death of Dorian Gray. And now, our reporter Elizabeth Turner will interview one of Dorian's closest friends, Lord Henry Wotton. Let's see what she has for us.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Turner. We're here at Lord Henry's place. A really close friend of Dorian Gray. Yeah, what a character, don't you think so? Well, there was a whole shock about his death, and we're here to interview Lord Henry. So, what do you think about this whole situation?
I am really mystified about Dorian Gray's death, and it really pains me. Dorian and I were really close friends, and I never saw anything that would lead to this. I find it very strange, and I'm very saddened by the situation.
Now, tell us, how did you meet him?
Well, I met Dorian Gray about, it must be 18 years or so. I met him at my friend Basil Hallward's house. It's a long time ago, but he never seemed to get any older. When I met him, Dorian was just a boy. He was filled with dreams and expectations. He had no idea what the world was about. I taught him the reality of the world, how nothing is more important than beauty and youth. And he always understood that, until his end. And, well, when I met him, my friend Basil was painting a portrait of him, the same portrait that was found in the room where he was dead. Strange thing though, as he said it had been lost.
Can you tell us what had led Dorian Gray to his suicide?
I don't understand. I'm not even sure it was a suicide. Dorian was always the happiest of all. He was young, beautiful. I can't understand what was wrong with his life. Ever since I met him, he had the smile. He had the face, he had everything. I'm not really sure it was a suicide though. He never had any problems really, excepting, well, a little romantic issue he had some years ago, but yeah, that's something of the past. The last few days though, he was feeling strange, all paranoid that people were out to get him. I thought he was just playing around, like everybody does, but I guess I'll never know.
What do you think about his strange transformation?
That's the part that mystifies me the most. But I guess it's pretty simple to explain. As I said before, Dorian never aged a bit. He was always happy, he was always beautiful. But now, as I see him today, all old and withered, I understand that all his beauty came from his heart, his life, his will to live. And I think that when he died, this will disappeared and turned him into what he is today. But that is not Dorian Gray. That's not the Dorian Gray I knew. Dorian Gray was a great man, and a very young man, a passionate man, a real one. That's Dorian Gray I'll remember forever.
That's a really interesting view. So, I would like to know more about Dorian Gray and you.
Well, as I said before, I met Dorian when he was just a boy. But the problem about Dorian then was he didn't know about the world. He didn't know how to enjoy himself. He had some strange ideas like a boy, but he didn't know the real meaning of life. That's where I came in. I taught him all I knew, how to enjoy life to the fullest. How everything is like a game, that fun and pleasure is the only thing we should go for. Beauty, there is nothing better than it. So with Dorian, I gave him a lot of me. We had sort of a father-son relationship, a teacher-student. So we shared a lot. He was the only one capable of understanding me, partly because I gave him all that he had.
This is really interesting. We would like to know more about yourself.
More about myself? What is there to say? Well, Think about myself. I enjoy life. I'm not like some of those people who just live or think they live, because they really don't. They don't enjoy the pleasure that the life gives us. I believe in pleasure. It's the most important thing. Nothing is worse than total boredom. People say 7 mortal sins are bad. I disagree. The 7 mortal sins bring us pleasure and are thus good. The only thing we have to fear is ennui, extreme boredom. That is me. I live life to the maximum. I do not care about trivialities, because I am here for a short time and I must enjoy it to the full.
So that is all. Thank you, Lord Henry, for accepting us at your home and for the realization of this interview. So I'm Elizabeth Turner reporting for Picture of London.
That was a very interesting story. Lord Henry looks like quite a character. So we decided to go an extra mile, and now our reporter, John McCaughey, will interview Lord Henry's wife to find more about the man behind Dorian Gray.
Hello, I'm John McCaughey, and I'm here with Victoria Wotton. Okay, we are here to know more about Henry Wotton. So please tell us, what is he like?
Well, when I first met him, I was really impressed by the way he thought and how he looked at life. He was very different from all of the other men. He had me at once.
So, and tell us, why did your marriage end?
Initially, everything was good, but then I realized he didn't care for others. Everything was just an experiment for him. For example, with me, he experienced life like a married man. That's what I think. He just used me like another of his theories. Then I didn't like the way he treated women, and finally I got sick. I got sick. That's why.
What can you tell us about your ex-husband's relation with Dorian Gray?
Well, it was a really complicated situation. For me, it seemed that Dorian was only what Henry wanted to be, a younger version of himself, and he only tried to make Dorian perfect. And finally he succeeded. He was obsessed with him and never really cared for Dorian.
So tell me, do you think that your ex-husband had anything to do with the death of Dorian Gray?
Maybe not directly, but Henry's ideas are what drove Dorian to his death. His dangerous philosophy corrupted Dorian. I met Dorian when he was younger, and he was a really lovely man. I mean, Henry ruined his life.
Well, that is all. Thank you, Victoria. This is John McCaughey for the Picture of London.
That was all for today. Thank you and good night.
Professionally